Here we go. All right. Can you see me, Edison? Yep. Can you see me? All right. All right. How does it look? Does it look good? All right. And how come it doesn't it says it's live, but it isn't recording? Can you see me on the YouTube? All right. Okay. All right. So we are live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. We're looking good. Okay. So we're going to do lives every other Monday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I have a topic, and then you guys can ask questions if you guys have any questions, and we'll go from there. Hey, Noob, how you doing, my friend Ernie? Good to see you. All right. So today we're going to talk about taxes because I know a lot of people are asking about taxes. It's the end of the year. You guys should have already went through all your ATM locations, and what you should have did is find out anybody who made $600 or more, you guys should have sent them a 1099. Now, you send those are always due by January 31st, and then you have to file with the government a report that says who'd you sent the 1099s to, and that's due by end of February. Okay, and then for you guys who have corporations, the tax deadline is March 15th, and if you're doing it as a sole proprietorship, or it's April 15th. Now you guys can now talk to an accountant. You can always file an extension for your taxes. But just to let you know, you can file it up, and then if you have an extension, they can file it anytime between March 15th and it's usually sometime in September. All right. Now, what I want to talk about is deductions, because a lot of people out here, one of the best parts about being in an ATM business is you're going to have all these deductions. That what you can do is you can take these deductions. Again, I just want to clarify, I'm not a certified public accountant. I don't play one on TV. I'm just trying to give some advice of what we've done throughout our career. You can take some of these deductions, and if you have a 9 to 5, then you can take that, and let's say however many deductions you file, you're going to pay into the government every month or during your paycheck. Now your accountant will take your ATM business and your W-9, and if you have some deductions from your business, then you can take that against your personal. So then it'll minimize some of the taxes that you pay in for your personal. Again, I just want to clarify, I'm not an accountant, but you can use some of these deductions. What are some of these deductions you're going to have? Well, you're going to have gas, you have oil, fuel expenses. If you have some car maintenance, those are always good deductions. Your cell phone bill. Now you can take that and go against some of your personal tax withholding. So you have your cell phone bill. You have your car payments. Those are also good. Now your accountant will tell you how much you can deduct. They'll keep you on the right and the straight and narrow. But this is some of the things that you can deduct that'll help you minimize your 9 to 5 taxes that you're exposed to. So this is the benefit, one of the benefits of having your own corporation, your own business, because now some of these things that you incur, gas, car payments, car insurance, cell phone bill, those will become deductions and go against your 9 to 5 job. All right. The other thing is you can do is once you're incorporated is you can take, which this is a nice one, you can take a yearly annual meeting, and you can go somewhere, you can check out other ATMs in different cities. So let's say you live in Illinois like we do. You want to get away. You want to say, hey, I'm going to go to Texas. I want to scout out new places for Texas that I want to look at maybe for an ATM business. And that all is a tax deduction, because now you're using that as a business expense to go visit the place in Texas to see maybe you want to put ATMs on. Now, some people say, well, that sounds like you're cheating. No, IRS code. But again, consult with your tax attorney, your accountant, not a tax attorney, but your accountant, and they will let you know the guidelines of this. Now, some of the other things you can do is you can take, there's things like life insurance. So maybe you want to take a life insurance policy out, and you can have the business pay for that. All right, you can do that. Just consult with your accountant. You can use your ATM business. It's not only just a business that's going to bring in extra revenue, But what we want to do is we want to minimize the amount of taxes that we pay. So one of the ways we do this is we take deductions. Now, all these things are deductible. I don't know what percentage. You're gonna have to check to your accountant, but it could be 100%. It could be just a percentage because you're using those as a business expense again to minimize your tax burden on your 9 to 5. Now, some people say, "Hey, Phil, I don't understand. Is the cash in the ATM what's as an expense? Is that not an expense?" No, cash in your ATM, we consider that an asset. All right. So the ATM, that's an asset. The cash in the ATM, that's an asset. Your wireless device, I don't consider that an asset. We write those off as an expense, but you could make it an asset. And when you do make it an asset, what does that mean? That means you can deduct a part of it every year as a depreciation. All right. So that um, now the government gives us opportunities to deduct now ATM business and the ATMs, their minimum expense. So you might want to take 100% of that as a deduction your first year, or you might want to write that off every so many years. Now, what we do is we write it off on a 7-year depreciation schedule, because what I like to do is I like to invest in new ATMs. I try to do it on a 5 year. So every year we're investing 20% of our fleet to new ATMs, and we take the old ATMs, retire them off. And what I do is that we sell those ATMs to other people in the business looking for used ATMs. But some people in the ATM business, they go to the end of life, which means they'll utilize those ATMs to the end until they don't function anymore. Now, right now we're going through now, the last basically 6 years we had uh, a what was it? It was EMV upgrade in 2017 that we had a mandatory upgrade. Well, it wasn't mandatory, but it shifted to liability. But as far as I was concerned, it's mandatory. So we had to have all these ATMs upgraded by 2017. Now, what did that mean? Some ATMs were not upgradable, so we had to throw those away. Others were. So we chose to upgrade everything that we could, and then what we couldn't, we had to dispose of. Now, keep in mind that ATM business, it seems like about every 3 years, there's another upgrade coming, another upgrade. So keep that in mind, that how long is my ATM going to be in the field? It's going to be in the field about 10 years. But after about 5 years, you will have to upgrade that to some way, shape, or form. So after 5 years, do you want to pay for the upgrade, or you want to think about maybe selling that ATM and purchasing new? So you always have an asset that you can sell. For us, I like to try to keep that ATM in the field only about maybe 5 years, sometimes maybe 7 years, and I don't try to get rid of the ATM, sell it to other people at a cheap price to get rid of that. Some people again operate to end of life, but the whole time what you're doing is you're depreciating. And if you choose to do a 7-year depreciation, if you choose to take it all the way down and do it all the first year, then you can write it all off the first year. So maybe what I also like to do is say, well, where did I have a good year? Now, 2020, we didn't have a good year because of COVID. But then 2021, that was a great year. We want to take a little bit more depreciation because we had such a good year in 2020 to minimize our tax burden that we had to pay the IRS. All right. But again, you want to consult that with uh, a CPA. All right. So we got a question. How much money do you need to start? Okay. So we had a question as how much do you need to start? Well, it depends on what you want to do. Okay. So I'll give you the numbers. You figure an ATM is going to cost you right now about $2,500 on a couple things, and a really standard bare minimum ATM is about 2,500. Then if you get, let's say that's for a Gen Mega 2,500, or a Halo 2 is about 2,500. It's a little less depending on this and that, but for the most part, let's just say it's that. Now, if you want to, then you got a wireless device, so that will probably cost you about 150 to somewhere to 200, depending on what kind of wireless device you get. There's all kinds of bells and whistles that you can get. But let's just say an average costs about $150. And then the money that you want to put into the ATM, I would recommend 3,000. People start with less, but I'm always looking to do about 3,000. And then if you want to do coaching, like we have a program, it's $1,000. Other people have other programs a little bit more, maybe as much as 6,000. But that's about what's going to cost. So let's say if you want just on the low, you got 2,500 for the ATM. Let's say make it 2,700 because you got the wireless device in there, and then 1,000 for the coaching is 3,700. And then if whatever you want to put in, if you want to start with 2,000, then you look at 5,700. If you want to put 3,000, you look at 6,700 or somewhere in that. Now that cash in the ATM, that's your money. So if the ATM business works, great, that's your working capital. If it doesn't work, you take your money out, you sell the ATM, and then you're out of the game for a minimum investment. All right. We got another question. I love this suggestion of building up locations. All right. Yeah. And so, when we always talk about building up locations, I like to build it slow and steady, the ATM business. A lot of people, and I just want to warn you guys, a lot of people, what they do is they rush out. Sometimes I've seen this, guys go out and they buy 5 ATMs and then they got to place the 5 ATMs and they spend whatever, let's say it's 5 times that's 10,000, that's 12,000, $13,000, somewhere in there. They spend that and then they're trying to find locations, but not always a good location. So it's about, you should always build the business slow because you want to give that location just enough time to breathe, to say, hey, is this a good location or is this not a good location? It just depends. And not every location is going to be a good location. Sometimes you go into a location, you think, hey, the owner said they're not going to take credit cards. I got a nice hot dog stand. They're not taking credit cards. And you put it in and the ATM does 300-400 transactions. And then 6 months down the line, the owner says, you know what, I got to take credit cards. And your ATM goes from doing 200-300 transactions down to 12. So you just got to, so then you got to move the ATM. So things like that happen. That's the way the ATM business goes. All right. So what else do I got? Locators. I like that I'm building. Okay. So I'm sorry. Okay. So yeah, locators. I'm calling them finders. So I'm renaming the game, at least for what I consider a finder is a person that you created to help you find locations. A locator is somebody that you're paying that already that's their business, is they find locations. So I believe in finding or creating finders that helps me minimize the amount of money I got to pay. And it also helps me get more quality locations. Locators, they do, depending on who you work with, some of them do a phenomenal job talking to the location and really vetting them. Others do not. They're just like, well, if they said to put an ATM in there, that's a good location. And the problem, that location could be a barbershop that the guy's appointment only, so it won't be a good location. All right. Yep. So that's what we got. Hold on, take a drink. All right. And the other thing so I just want to make sure you on the cash. And then the other thing that you guys should also do when you're setting up a business is where does money come from that you're going to put into the ATM? What you should do is create on your balance sheet a loan. Let's say my name is Philip Webb. Our business is PDQ Merch Enterprises. And I wanted to put, let's say I just started out and I want to put $3,000. What I do is I set up on my balance sheet a loan from Philip Webb to PDQ Merch Enterprises. That way, it's a loan. So let's say we're starting to make money, then I can pay myself back and put that back into my personal in my personal account. Okay, because that money had to come from somewhere. Now, some people, when you get real sophisticated, you can even charge yourself interest. So you lend the money to yourself, and then right now a going rate would be 12%, 8 to 10%. So if you're making money on your ATM business, you could actually pay yourself interest on the money that you lent the company. So just another food for thought. Again, consult an accountant, but they can tell you all the tips and tricks and how to do that. But it's a nice thing. All right, thank you, no problem. All right, let's see. So what else we got to talk about? Okay. What else? So with we got new. It's have you worked with Mr. Blend? Yeah, I have. So there's a question. Have you worked with this guy Blend? He's a locator. Yeah, he's one of the good guys out there. He does help people um, in the business. He's I would say out of all the guys that that I've seen out there, he's basically a reputable guy. His name is Blend. And see what he say. He's sold me a few leads. One of them is consistently, yeah, doing 150 transactions. Yeah, so that guy is a good. He's a good guy. They do a real nice job of vetting the locations. Others I had, and just so you guys know, when you buy or you're talking to a locator, try to make sure that they don't necessarily cut the deal with the location. Because some guys they've seen, well, they just cut you 50% and then there's no room in there. So what you try to do is you try to minimize that to the best of your ability and make sure that some of the guys who are their locators, they'll say, oh, I got a contract, but it's not really a contract. It's more like a finder. So you have to go in with your own agreement. So always keep that in mind when you're dealing with a locator. Make sure you use your agreement to get the guy signed up, because that could be a challenge. All right. Well, we got the last thing with taxes. Let me think. Well, I think that's about it. What I got on taxes. Do we have anything else that we could think of? Let's see. We got taxes and we got and if if you do use a locator or a finder, all that, those are tax deductions to those people. Now, keep in mind that if you're using that same person over and over, you'll have to issue them a 1099 too at the end of the year. But those people, that's an expense. Also, and if you guys want a new phone too, same thing is all good for the expenses. All right. If there's any more questions, then we're just gonna kind of wrap it up. But I just want to see. No, we got a bunch of YouTube people here, which is good. All right. Well, hey, we're gonna talk again in 2 weeks again at 6 p.m. And if you guys got any more questions about anything in the ATM business, or what to look for, or what's any questions at all, I don't know, I'll have a topic. We'll talk about that topic, and then after that, we'll go from there. So, hey, I want to thank you guys very much for jumping on tonight, and I appreciate all you guys. And if you have any more questions, you can certainly leave it in chat. I'll try to answer those. Don't forget to join the ATM Mastermind group page. It's free to join, and you guys can always ask questions on YouTube. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. Also, we're going to hop over our student section now. So anybody, we do an accountability call every other week too, right after this one. So if you guys are ever interested in joining our ATM Mastermind student section, you guys, no problem. And we teach you again from A to Z how to set up an ATM business and how to get in there. We also, just so you guys know, if you ever need an ATM, PDQ sells ATMs. We offer processing. Processing's free to anybody that that processes with us. So thank you guys very much, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Thank you.